Hey, this is Dr. Ernst, host of the Ask Dr. Ernst Show, and I'd like to share a secret with you. Did you know that most cardiologists don't actually test your heart? They're looking at downstream effects, total cholesterol, triglycerides, HDLs, LDLs. It's all good, but what if there were tests you could use to actually check the health of your heart? There are 5. The first, an advanced lipid panel. The second, high sensitivity C-reactive protein. The third, coronary artery calcium scores. Then you have heart rate variability, and the most important, neurological heart nerve exams. All of this is described in my Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook, along with protocols to fix high blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, palpitations, arrhythmias. If you have a heart health issue, this ebook will show you what to do and the tests you can get to find out root cause. Simply text your name and email to 704-906-2094. That's your name, your email to 704-906-2094.
How come there are people who drink a pint of whiskey a day for 20, 30 years, and at the end of it, only 20 or 30% become cirrhotic? What happened to the others? And we speculated, we hypothesized, it's the enzyme, alcoholic dehydrogenase made by the stomach. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's genes. Maybe it's polymorphism. Mm-hmm. The answer appears to be coffee. If you drink that much alcohol and drink 1 cup of regular coffee a day, 20% reduction in alcoholic cirrhosis risk, 2 cups 40%, 4 cups 80%. It's not a license to drink heavily and drink coffee and protect your liver. You could still get Korsakoff psychosis, cardiomyopathy, pancreatitis, kill people on the road, ruin your marriage, but it does protect the liver. It's pretty amazing.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, you're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. My name is Dr. Aaron Ernst, and on today's episode, we're going to call this Heart Health Matters. We're going to dive into the various insights behind keeping your heart in tip-top, functional, real heart health. Today, we're going to discuss what I believe to be the most incredible discovery and information that I have lined up for you, the top 5 best tests you can run or request from your cardiologist to actually find out if your heart is healthy. No more guessing and saying stuff like, well, I have a genetic history or a family history of heart disease, so therefore I have heart disease. That has been disproven to the nth degree. No more just looking at your total cholesterol and going, well, my doctor says my cholesterol is high, so my heart is unhealthy. That is also no longer the truth. We're going to discuss 5 of the best tests you can ever get to see how healthy your heart is. And all during our show today, guys, I have put some finishing touches on a updated, upgraded, new version of Heart Heal Thyself ebook. Ooh, this is a doozy. Let me just go through this with you. So the hidden causes of heart disease, how the conundrum of cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. So we've got to break down this myth, this thought that cholesterol is why you have heart disease. No to the no to the no. A real cardiac blood test. The connection between your heart and your gut. How do you know if you actually have a heart health problem? Sugars, grain, and inflammation in heart disease. The history of cardiovascular disease and its incorrect cause. Cholesterol and saturated fat myths. Getting to the heart of the matter. Tests, exams, protocols, procedures, and get this, an at-home cardiac exam that is more accurate than cholesterol and triglycerides. You have it all for you, free. Free to the free to the free. All you have to do, as we do every single show, is text your name, first and last, by the way, your email, and the word heart to 704-906-2094. Guys, it's that easy. 704-906-2094. It is on the screens. It is our show call line and text line. And today is the Heart Health Matter. Why is this so crucial? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but technically heart disease is currently still the leading cause of death in the world. But so many people are being misled as to the reason for this. And yes, early detection and advanced treatments have made it so that we can find heart disease even in children. That's a shock, isn't it? Teenagers are finding, medicine doctors, medical doctors, I don't say we because I'm not included in that group. They are now finding cardiovascular streaking and cholesterol plaquing in the teenage population. What is the answer to this pharmaceutically? Well, the companies are saying, we want people to be on drugs. We want more children on drugs. In fact, they've even come out with statins for kids. I'm not making this up. Pretty soon you're going to be seeing a chewable statin if they don't already have one. So what we have to do is we got to talk about this. If we wait till the cholesterol shows up, that is too late. So technically, when do we start developing heart disease? The moment we take our first breath. So mom just literally goes, and out comes baby, and heart disease is developing right there. Because the second we suck oxygen into our body, we create a process of oxidation, and unless we control that and decrease inflammation, that ticker is going to stop ticking at some point. So we have to talk about just heart health in general first. Your heart is incredibly powerful. Obviously, you know it pumps gallons upon gallons upon gallons of blood around you all day. It's like the engine of the car. If it's not working, nothing else runs smoothly. Just like you would not ignore strange noises coming from your car if it's knocking or clicking or smoking, you shouldn't ignore the signs that your heart is giving you problems. I'm not saying that you don't need to potentially see a cardiologist or an MD. I'm saying they're not running the right tests. They're running the wrong tests, in my opinion. So what are these 5 tests? Let me just give them to you real quick. An advanced lipid panel. Not just cholesterols. High sensitivity C-reactive protein test. That's number 2. Coronary artery calcium score. Most people have never had this done to save their life. Most of them don't even know what it is. And those of you who've had it done are like, God, thank God I did this. It actually shows me what's going on with my heart. Heart rate variability analysis. And the one that most people miss to the nth degree, a neurological heart exam. A nerve heart exam. So let me give them to you again. Number 1, an advanced lipid panel, not just cholesterols. Number 2, high sensitivity C-reactive protein test. Number 3, coronary arterial calcium score. Number 4, heart rate variability analysis. And number 5, neurological cardiovascular analysis. Each of these tests will provide very unique insights into the functioning of your heart. And so think about how amazing this is. We have the technology today to explore all the way into the deep depths of what your heart is doing instead of just listening to it with a stethoscope like we used to do or running all of the advanced cardiac screenings, right? How many people have done a stress test, passed it, and had a heart attack? How is that humanly possible? How many people have cholesterols that are perfect and they still had a heart attack? Happens all the time. How many people have horrible cardiovascular numbers and they never have heart attacks? It's because the tests the standard cardiologists are running are no good, no bueno. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to get the right test. And these 5, if you guys engage in these, will show you how healthy your heart is. And this is the most important, if not the best thing you can ever do for long-term longevity. So I want to start with the toughest one for me to teach you guys, an advanced lipid panel. It goes way beyond just looking at cholesterol. And I have the entire description of what an actual advanced lipid panel is. It's an NMR profile. You don't just look at cholesterol. You look at what's inside the cholesterol. We have to literally crack that sucker open. Think of it like if you find an orange and you were to peel it back and you found an apple on the inside, you would be a little discombobulated. What the heck? I thought I bought an orange and I peeled it and it was an apple. Just because we see LDL doesn't mean it's full of cholesterol, because cholesterol is cholesterol. LDL is a low-density lipoprotein that can, but doesn't always, carry cholesterol. So we have to ask this question. Am I looking at the oranges and assuming that it's full of orange? Or am I actually cracking it open and saying, what's inside of you? Hey, LDL particle, what are you carrying? There's not a lot of cholesterol in here. Wait a second. There's antioxidants, there's vitamins, there's vitamin E, CoQ10, flavonols. Wow, this LDL particle is carrying some good stuff. Why would I want to lower that one? So, what is an advanced lipid panel? A lot of people will say stuff like, can you tell me what the difference is between having my cholesterol run and having a lipid panel that's advanced run? Absolutely, I can. Here we go. A standard lipid panel going to your doctor looks at total cholesterol, LDL, HDL, triglycerides, and that's it. And unfortunately, you all have been brainwashed into thinking that those 4 numbers tell you how healthy your heart is. No to the double no to the can't be done no. When these numbers, which they claim are important for your cardiovascular health, are out of balance, they say your heart is sick and you must bring the numbers back to normal. And don't worry, we have hundreds of statins and cholesterol drugs. In fact, they haven't been working so well, shows you why they're not actually accurate, that we now have something new. We have an injectable statin. Where we can give you monoclonal antibodies that will go around and actually destroy the LDL particles, because we need your LDL down and we need your HDL up, right? That's the mantra. I am a cardiologist. You must raise your HDL and lower your LDLs. And if you don't do it, you will die of a heart attack. So take this drug. That's what they do, guys. They literally have programmed you. You're like a robot. Yes, doctor, I understand. LDL is bad. HDL is good. I want my LDLs as close to 0 as possible. I don't know if you know this or not, but if your LDL goes 0, you die. If they go less than 100, you die. Like, you can't live without cholesterol. But the doctor says it should be as low as humanly possible, and I am a robot, and I will comply. So be careful. Just be careful. Okay, so watch. The actual true lipid panel is going to look at the particles and their makeup. So yes, the size and the number of LDL particles are important. Small, dense LDL particles are more likely to poke their way through the arterial hole and can get attached to calcium and cause atherosclerosis. We know this. This is fact. It's been proven by science. But is it the LDL that's causing the heart disease? No. It would be like blaming the firemen for the fire. Oh my God, the neighbor's house just burned down. Look at all the firemen around this house. They must have burned the house down. That would be insane to think that, but guess what we do? Oh my God, look at this artery. It's literally leaking everywhere. It's about to burst. Look at all the cholesterol trying to hold it together. The cholesterol must have punched holes in the artery. That's also insanity according to the newest cardiovascular research. So instead, we have to ask this question: how detailed of the information can we get to start preventing heart disease? Well, an advanced lipid panel can help, but it doesn't solve the problem. All we got to know is how big or how small and how many of these things do you have. If you have a high LDL, let's pretend you go to your medical doctor and they're like, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, your LDL cholesterol is 225. Oh my God, you're going to have a heart attack. First of all, there's no proof of that. There's no research that says that, just, you know. But don't panic. If you came to me, I'd be like, okay, so your LDL is high. Let's find out what kind of LDL you have. Well, what do you mean, what kind? Well, are they small, dense particles, or are they large, fluffy, less harmless particles? We can test this. So if you have high LDL, it doesn't mean squat if they are large, fluffy particles, because those things are good. They carry antioxidants, they carry vitamins, they carry nutrients, and you want those. But if they're small, dense LDL particles, those are dangerous. And we have to ask the next question. Why do you have so many small LDL particles? And that's the next test. The next test will help us to understand why. So just remember, can you influence your cholesterols by doing diet and exercise? Of course. Okay, so if you eat healthy fats, like those things found in wild-caught fish, nuts and seeds, olive oils, avocado oils, hemp seed oils, flaxseed oils, all of these have been proven to increase the size of your LDL particles, making your profile better, but not necessarily lowering your LDLs, because it's not about lowering the number. It's not. It's about making you have more larger particles. Regular physical fitness and eating high saturated plant fats like coconut and avocado can raise the HDL levels and lower your triglycerides. So if we do this, we can make a better profile. So there's test number one. Number one, you must get an advanced lipid panel. If you need help with that, any integrative, holistic, and or highly trained physician or holistic doctor can do this for you. We do this all the time for our patients. It's a standard NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance test, an NMR lipid profile or an advanced lipid profile. Okay, test number two. This is a huge one. All right, man, we're running shy on time already. High sensitivity CRP or C-reactive protein, also known as Hs-CRP. Let me think about it this way. Dr. Ernst, could you explain what that test is and what it actually means for your heart health? Sure. Great question. Hs-CRP test measures in your blood physically the level of a protein called C, cardiac reactive protein, which is a marker of inflammation Unlike the standard CRP test, which is not specific, the high sensitivity version can detect even the lowest level of this protein. And that's essential because even small amounts of inflammation are known to be cardiovascular risks. So this is you now asking the next question. So inflammation is more significant for heart disease? I thought cholesterol was. Can you explain this? Well, sure. Inflammation is why the arteries are irritated in the first place. It's inflammation first, then calcium buildup second, then cholesterol sticking third, then blockage fourth, then heart disease diagnosed. So wait a second. Let's go all the way back. What was the start? Inflammation. How can we test the inflammation of my heart, Dr. Ernst? Great question. It's called Hs-CRP. Elevated Hs-CRP can be a signal that there are increased cardiovascular inflammatory events. Gee, doc, that makes perfect sense. So if my CRP is high, it means my heart might be inflamed. Yes. Now watch this. A normal level of Hs-CRP is less than 1.0 milligram per liter. It's just the standard. If you get an Hs-CRP and you come back and they say it's 3.6, you should be screaming and yelling, oh my gosh, because you don't want it to go over 3. Anything over 3 is medically considered high risk for cardiovascular events, whatever that means. How is the CRP test performed? It is a blood test, guys. It's a poke of a needle, and you wait 24 hours, and it comes back with a number. So we have the ability to see if your heart's inflamed. So what did we do first? We're looking to see if you have a ton of LDL and its size and its shape and its quantity. How many of them are there and how big are they? Number 2, we're looking to see if your heart itself is physically inflamed. So we run an Hs-CRP. But listen, it's important to note that if you have an active infection, like let's say you have a sinus infection, or you have an chronic inflammatory, like say rheumatism, CRP can also be elevated in those instances. This is why you need a doctor to do this to help you interpret the results. So CRP is not only specific for the heart. If you have an infection, your CRP goes up because it's an inflammatory marker. But if you don't have an infection and everything's considered fine and dandy in your world and you have a high CRP and you have a high LDL, now we're starting to go, wow, time for test number 3. What is test number 3, Dr. Ernst? Well, listen, it is fully described to the nth degree along with how to fix it in the new Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. You get this book for free. It is literally like Cardiology 101, Heart Disease Heal Thyself. Just text your name and your email to 704-906-2094. Can you call this phone number? Yes, but my team isn't going to pick up. It's a Saturday. We want you to just text in. So text your name, first and last, your email, and the word heart, and boom, either today or on Monday, they'll send it out to you. So what is the next test? Okay, the next one of the 5 is called Coronary Artery Calcium Score. My favorite and the one that nobody does. Well, most people don't. If you were to look at what a coronary artery calcium score is, I hope you would understand the name of the test tells you. They want to look into the little vessels and whatnot of the heart, the arteries that go to the heart, and see how much calcium is inside of them. The test is conducted with a special type of a CT, computed topography, I think is what it's called. Yes, CT scan, like many, many x-rays, where they capture a bunch of images of the heart, and the presence of calcium can show up on a CT as a white streak in the heart. Then what they do is they measure the amount of calcium in each vessel. So a CAC score, or a coronary artery calcium score, is a predictor. And by far, according to the research guys, it is the best predictor of your future cardiovascular health. So for example, the score of normal is between 0 and maybe 400 at the most. So if your total score is more than 400, your eyebrows should go up going, uh-oh, I have a problem. Now, does that tell you what the problem is? No, you got to do the Hs-CRP. You have to do the advanced lipid panel. You have to do the other tests I'm going to talk to you about. So you have to figure it out. But a score of 0 means we couldn't detect any calcium. And that's what you want. You want it as close to 0 as possible. A score of 200 means, whoops, you have some calcium and it's probably spread around your heart in a couple areas. A score of 400, though, is like, oh my God, red flag, red alert. It is a quick, non-invasive, painless test. During the procedure, you lay on a table. They'll slide you into a CT scanner, and you'll hear just click, 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 as it takes probably 40 or 50 x-rays of your heart in maybe 2 minutes. There's no need for contrast dyes. Radiation exposures today is very minimal. They're zooming in, and they're just going, brrr, and they're done. Okay, very low x-ray compared to getting a CT of your whole body, which is like 1 million x-rays. Okay, so it is quickly non-invasive, and it can tell you how bad your heart is. So we want to see the calcium. Why? Calcium's a sign of inflammation. So for example, if your CAC test is high and your Hs-CRP is high and you have an elevated LDL, now we're actually going, yeah-oh, inflammation is present. And so now we need to go to the next test. And I have a commercial coming right up in a moment. But the next test has to do with your heart and how well it beats at rest compared to in movement. It is what's known as the HRV test. And don't worry, I'm going to kind of summarize these and give examples in the second segments. But just know this. HRV stands for heart rate variability. And an HRVA is the analysis of the HRV. I know, right? Medicine loves to just confuse you guys. HRV, heart rate variability. HRVA, the analysis of that variation. So I want you to think of it like this. Heart rate variability refers to the variation in the time between each heartbeat. It's controlled by your autonomic nervous system, which regulates body function, including heart rates and digestion and all these kind of things. HRV is extremely non-invasive. You put this little thing on your finger, you get a ring, you get something that says, how long is it between the two heartbeats? A high HRV says your autonomic system is good, and you're at a resilience and you're slightly rested. A low HRV means you're probably stressed out or fatigued, you're just tired, or you have some underlying heart health issue. And there's known ranges, which I'll come back and talk about in a moment because we're at commercial time coming up. Hey, take a moment right now. Text the word heart plus your name and email to 704-906-2094. You get the brand new upgraded Heart Heal Thyself ebook for free and the second Saturday of July. I know it's like forever and a half away is my up-and-coming Heart Heal Thyself Masterclass. You're going to get free early bird registration. Anyone who calls or texts during our show today, free to the free to the free. All the tests I'm talking about are in here. All the information you need is in here. Everything you can do to heal your heart is in here, and I'm giving it away for free. 704-906-2094. 704-906-2094. Just text your name, your email, the word heart, and it's yours. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Don't go away. We still have an entire 25 minutes once these commercials are finished to talk about your heart, why it matters, what the rest of these tests are, and how to actually do this the right way. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Would you like to experience a better night's sleep? Want to feel well rested and ready for your day? Discover an amazing solution with Celliant Sleep Recovery. Our Celliant Sleep Recovery products are made from a patented yarn embedded with a blend of 13 infrared active minerals. Celliant technology never washes out. The benefits will last for their entire lifespan. Minerals reflect the body's own energy by using Celliant infrared active technology, boosting your oxygen levels and improving circulation to reach REM sleep gracefully. Our customers love to comfortably sleep throughout the night because of Celliant. We've conducted 9 independent clinical studies by well-respected scientific institutions and universities that prove the many positive effects Celliant has on the body. Our technology is designed to help you achieve a refreshing sleep recovery. Experience the foundation your body deserves. Start waking up refreshed and always ready for the day ahead. It's time to achieve the best sleep of your life to unlock your hidden potential. Start experiencing a better night's sleep with our Celliant sleep recovery products today. Celliant. Recycle your body's energy.
Hi, my name is Gary Greenfield. Welcome to greenfieldwater.com. I'm often asked the question, what is structured water? Well, structured water is simply water in its natural state. And you may ask, what is that? Well, water in its natural state is the way water has always been since the beginning of time. It's only been in the past 100 years or so that we've begun to destroy our water source. And we've done that through the imposition of modern technologies such as dams, which impede the flow of water. And the problem there is that water is the lifeblood of the earth. Just as our blood circulates through our system to bring nutrients throughout the whole body, water does the same thing for the earth. And when we impede that flow, we impede that whole process and everything downstream suffers. We've also subjected water to straight pipes and pumps. And this is a problem because it de-energizes the water. You see, the way water works is it vortexes. And wherever it flows, it goes into left-right turn spins and into vortexing. And what is that doing? That's drawing in energy. And that energy is essential to life enhancement for all cells in every plant and every animal and every person. And we also subject water to contaminants, pollutants, chemicals. And of course, it's obvious, these are poisons. And they impede all the cellular functions in plants, animals, and people as well, and they impede the microbial actions in our soils. So these are big problems. And unless we fix our water supply, not only by filtering, but also by structuring it and energizing it, we're not going to be able to enjoy good health or vitality. We're just not going to have it. We're going to be devitalized, and we're going to suffer many different ailments that come about because of cells that are not healthy. Because the cells require hydration, and they thrive in a structured water environment. If the water around a cell is not structured, those cells eventually die because they're not getting the nutrients that they need because the water is in such a clumped state, it's in such a de-energized state that it can't deliver the nutrients to the cells. And the primary nutrients that it delivers are oxygen and hydrogen, although it does deliver all the elements of the periodic table, which are all important. But oxygen and hydrogen are the most important. Oxygen sanitizes the body, and hydrogen is the primary fuel source for the body. And what I mean by that is that it's not glucose. You've been taught in biology that glucose is the primary energy source for the body. Glucose is the building block. Water, hydrogen, is the fuel source for every activity in the body. Is the primary energy source. And if our water is not in its optimal natural state, we are not going to have the energy that we should have, or that could be available if that water was structured. So your water has to be structured, whether it's for a farm or whether it's for your animals or whether it's for your own children in your household. The water needs to be structured. It needs to be energized. And it also needs to be filtered. And that is what we do here at Greenfield Water. We create devices that we call structured water filter devices. They structure the water, they filter the water, and they energize the water. So check out the products. You can learn more about structured water by perusing the articles on my website. I've got an ebook. Please read it if you have an opportunity. And if you have any questions, give us a call. That's it for now from Greenfield Water. Thank you for watching.
Welcome back. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. My name is Dr. Aaron Ernst, and isn't it amazing how fast 5 minutes can go by? Hey, there was a couple people who texted over and asked some very specific questions. So what I'm going to do is, as we finish today, probably the last 10 minutes, I'm going to go and read these questions to you and answer them live. Thank you guys for using the commercial break to connect with us. We had a lot of people texting in asking for the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook. I love it. But unfortunately, a lot of you just said heart and you hit send. So guess what we're missing? We're missing your name. We're missing your email. And yes, we have your cell phone number, but we need to be able to email you an electronic book because it's difficult to send a 6 or 7 megabyte file through text. It can be done, but it's hard. So just give us some help, okay? First name, last name, email. A lot of you just sent your first name, and it's cool, but then when our system asks for your last name, we have to type the word unknown, and you might get an email that says, "Hi, Mr. X Unknown," and you might be like, "Unknown? What, are they spamming me?" No, you just didn't give us your last name. First name, last name, email, the word heart, send. It's that easy. You don't have to do it in that order. You could say heart, email, last name first. Heart, email, first name, last. You get it. There's 4, so we got a lot of options. So just take a moment. Do us a favor. The only payment I ask you to do is the energy required to open your phone and go 704-906-2094, send a text, and boom, you send name and email and the word heart, and it's yours. We're also giving away early bird registration to the Heart Heal Thyself Live Masterclass. The masterclass I did last week had 700 people on it. It's a lot, but when you look at the grand scheme of the number of people in Charlotte, it pales in comparison to the amount of people who need to hear what we're saying today. Can you heal your heart by yourself? Yes. Do you need a cardiologist to do this? No. Now, some of you might, because you already have heart disease, need a physician and or a cardiologist and a functional doctor in your wheelhouse. I get that. But if you want to prevent heart disease, get these 5 tests run. If you pass all 5, you're in the clear according to all of the research. If you're just tuning in, and you're probably scratching your head going, wait a minute, there's 5 tests. I don't even know what these 5 are. Can you shut up and just give me the 5 tests? Here they go. Test number 1, an advanced lipid panel, not cardiovascular testing like total cholesterol, LDL, HDL, and triglycerides. An advanced lipid panel is more advanced, and I'll briefly do a highlight on that. The next one you want is called high sensitivity C-reactive protein. It's an inflammatory marker that can indicate the amount of inflammation in the heart. The next one is called a CAC, or a coronary artery calcium score, and it looks at how much calcium is physically in the vessels of your heart. The next one is a heart rate variability analysis, which we just started talking about, and then those stinking commercials came on board, but we need our sponsors, so yay. And then guess what? We're going to talk about the final one, which is a neurogenic cardiovascular test. How are the nerves to your heart working? So short and sweet, real brief, because those of you who've been sticking around since the top, I don't need to go through it all again. But an advanced lipid panel is way more than just looking at total cholesterol and the amount of LDL and HDL and triglycerides. That is old school, guys, from like the 50s and 60s, and it has died. We've actually buried it, and for some reason, it keeps coming back to life. God, my cholesterol causes heart disease. It's a zombie, and you go, and you kill it. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. LDL does not cause heart disease. But Dr. Ernst, my medical doctor, who's pretty smart, he went to medical school, and he says I got LDL. And that LDL is going to clog my heart. Your doctor's been hanging out with zombies. It has been disproven. So what we know is the proof is the size and what's inside of those particles. You might have high LDL. That does not mean you're going to have a heart attack. You might have low LDL. That does not mean you're not going to have a heart attack. So what we know instead is the advanced lipid panel will show us, are they small and dense and dangerous, or are they large and fluffy and beautiful and you want them? So you need an advanced lipid panel. The panel technically is called an NMR lipid profile. NMR, Nancy Mary Robert, NMR lipid profile. Okay, to number 2, we talked about how you've got to stop just looking at cholesterols. You need to also look at the sensitivity protein that floats around in very small doses in the blood. Is there a test just called CRP, period? Yes. That's the cardiac reactive protein. But it's not a very accurate test. They'll allow you to have up to like 10. And if you had 9, they would say you're fine, and it's not accurate. So they came around with this one called high sensitivity CRP. It's more like zooming in and finding trace levels of it. And in this one, you're only allowed 3. So if you were at a 9 before, the doctors would be like, well, your CRP is fine. It looks good. But then if you did the Hs-CRP, they would go, yikes, it's a 9. You're bad. It's bad. Okay, so 0 to 3 for Hs-CRP. What is CRP? Cardiac reactive protein. Just listen to the name of it. It's a protein that reacts to your heart. If your heart's inflamed, the CRP levels start floating around in your blood. If your heart is not inflamed, CRP levels go down. Ideally, it is less than 1 milligram per liter. So if you run off to the lab and say, hey, can I have an Hs-CRP test? And it comes back and says 0.86, we go, rock on. And if your LDLs are super high, we're like, hey, rock on. Get the rest of the test. Let's confirm that that is a good LDL. Okay, if it is between 1 and 3, we start going, something's going on. You're at moderate risks, according to the research. And if it's over 3, you're at high risk for cardiovascular events. What is a cardiovascular event? Well, cholesterol plaquing. That's an event that happens in the heart. Arrhythmia is an event. A palpitation, a VTAC. SA node failure. Like, you guys, there's so much for your heart. Like, they have studied this thing. Like, they know more about this than they know about their car. And I say they as in doctors. Like, we know so much about the organ, but we have very little knowledge about what causes the problem. And yet now we know. Okay, so next test is called a CAC, a CAC, a coronary artery calcium test. I like this one because it's newer. It's been around for a while, but it's newer and not that many people are using it. So this is how you can really, truly find out. And I want to be very specific about this test because some people have gotten skewed results. I had a patient recently who shot me an email and he's like, Dr. Ernst, oh my gosh, my CAC was 900. The doctor told me to triple up on my statin. And I went, okay, well, first of all, it looks for calcium and that has nothing to do with cholesterol. And it just shows you how your doctor still hangs around with zombies. Use the analogy from before. And they don't obviously know what they're talking about. A coronary artery calcium test looks for coronary calcium, meaning how much calcium is in the arteries of your heart. And if you have high levels of calcium, that isn't the problem. It would be like, again, use the analogy of the firemen at the house fire. House is on fire. There's a lot of firemen. We would never blame the firemen for causing the house fire, would we? No, that would be insane. So can we blame the calcium for being there? No. It's a symptom of the root inflammation in the vessel. So what's really cool about these scans, though, I want you to be just very, very cool. Like, you should get one, okay? Think of it like you need a baseline scan. Just like you need baseline x-rays of your teeth, you need baseline x-rays of your spine, you need baseline thermographies for your breast, male and female. You need baselines so we know where were you versus where you are now. So it's one thing to go in and get a calcium score test and say like, oh, 900, I'm going to die. Well, what if last year it was 1,000? You're actually doing pretty good because you're lowering the calcium in your heart. Well, I didn't do it last year, so they say I'm going to die. You can't do that. You just can't. It physically cannot be done. Even the research says that that's not something you can do. If your coronary artery calcium score goes up annually more than 15%, then we're going to say, you're going to die. Just kidding. We won't even say it then. We're going to say, you're at risk for heart disease. So you have to have it done every year. Now, here's the other thing behind these tests and why they're sort of misinterpreted. Let's say you go get one and your medical doctor gets the report and goes, Mary, I have bad news. Your calcium score is 900. And you need to triple your cholesterol meds because we don't know any other way to protect you from heart disease than to make your LDLs as low as we can get them. We have no understanding of how to lower this calcium score. We just know it's not good. And so scared you leave and scared you take your meds. That is not good. Like not good at all. Go deeper, guys. There are multiple arteries that are assessed during this scan, and the total number is the accumulation of all of those arteries. So for example, a score of 900 is technically high. All right, here's what the research says. Score of 0, perfect, you're good. Score of 1 to 100 is a mild amount of calcification. It would be considered a low-level risk of cardiovascular disease. 101, though, to 400 is like, whoops, you actually have a lot of calcium and you're at moderate risk. But a score of 400 or higher is like a problem. And go, oh, shalala, that's a bad score. So you're going, but Dr. Ernst, 900 is greater than 400, so you just lied. You just said 900 isn't always bad. Be careful. Be careful. The total score represents 4 arteries. Ready? Artery number 1. The left main coronary artery, abbreviated LM on the report. The next one, the LAD. This is the widowmaker. This is the one everybody's so freaking out about. It's your left anterior descending artery. See it right here? The one on the front, the anterior artery. This is the one that almost always gets clogged with cholesterol. Then you have the LCX, left circumflex artery. Left circumflex artery, LCX. Then you have the RCA, the right collateral. Now watch, 900. What happens if the LM is only 3? Well, there's no streaking in that one. What if the LAD is only 350? Well, there's a little bit of streaking in that one. What if the LCX is only 230? Well, there's a little bit of streaking in that one. What if the RCA is at 320? Well, there's also a little bit of streaking in that one. But if you add them up, it equals 900, and you leave thinking you're about to have a heart attack when it just shows actually instead of it 900 being, oh my gosh, you're in the moderate risk zone. Now, is that still worth noting? Yes. All I'm trying to show to you is the total score is meaningless. Just like total cholesterol is meaningless. You have to zoom in. Okay, which artery is bad? Now, watch this. If the left artery, the left main coronary artery was 0, and the LAD was 900, and the LCX was 0, and the RCA is 0, that is a huge problem because it means all the calcium is in one artery. So just understand, a coronary artery scan is the coolest thing you can ever get, and you should get one now. Call Charlotte Radiography. Call whoever's in your local area radiography. Just look up city radiography. You almost always have a city radiography. And just say, ring, ring, ring. Hey, listen, I was listening to a podcast and a radio show where they said calcium artery score tests are really good to get. I'd like to get one. Who's your rendering physician? None. It's just me. I'd like to pay for it in cash. Like I want it now. Like give it to me now. How do I schedule one immediately? Well, normally you have to have a referral from your cardiologist. I don't have a cardiologist. It's just me, and I want the test. I know it exists. I know the codes. Here it is. Give me the test. How much is it if I pay cash? It's $199. Okay, perfect. I'm going to pay cash, and when can I schedule it? You can come in on Friday at 4 o'clock. Guys, it's that easy. It's literally that easy. Okay, as we have some time left at the end of the show, I'm going to teach you how to lower your calcium score in case it's too high. But we got to go to the next one, right? Okay, so what is the next test? We talked about heart rate variability. This is a tricky one because the problem is a lot of people aren't measuring this properly. There are really cool devices. Here's an Oura ring. It's an electronic ring that I wear every day. When I wake up, it gives me my HRV score throughout the previous day. The higher the HRV, the better. The lower the HRV, the worst. It's typically measured, again, by wearing some sort of a device that can tell the amount of time between a heartbeat. If you want to get technical, it's known as the RR interval. Look it up if you want, R-R interval. The data is then analyzed, and that's called an HRVA, by either a computer or some human being that knows how to do this, and they'll see what the number is. So, for example, you want it to be like 50 or 60 or 70 in an ideal world. So if it's like 20, what that tells us is either you're overworked, overstressed, fatigued, you haven't been sleeping very well, or you have an underlying root health issue. It is bad to have low HRV for long periods of time. There are many different factors, though. How physically fit you are determines your HRV. How old you are determines your HRV. How much stress you're under determines your HRV. How much you sleep determines your HRV. Improving HRV is a technique to improving your heart health because the studies show the lower your HRV, the worse your heart health is. So wait. We have an advanced lipid panel that can predict cardiovascular disease. Yes, and there's even ratio assessments and cardiovascular risk assessments done with that panel. We have Hs-CRP, which can also do this, cardiovascular risk assessments. We have a calcium score test that you can get from your cardiologist if you ask, or just go straight to the radiologists and ask and pay for it. It'll tell you how much risk you have for heart disease. We can run HRV. Like you can get a little HRV monitor probably on Amazon for like $10. You can buy an Oura ring and let it give you all kinds of information. HRV is very easy to get. It tells us how stressed out your heart is. Those are 4. Now for the 5th. The 5th is very, very existential. So I highly encourage you download the newest ebook, Heart Disease, Heal Thyself. How close can I get to the camera? Wow, I can get pretty close. Heart Disease, Heal Thyself. Simply text your name, full name, first and last. I don't need your middle name. I just need your first and your last name. Your email, whatever that is, and the word heart, H-E-R-T. Our software scans the text and goes, ooh, they just said heart. Send them the heart disease ebook for free. And you get access to the masterclass that we're hosting the 2nd Saturday of July. That is, I believe, the 13th, if I remember right. Yep, July 13th. 1, 2, 3 weeks from today. Yep, plenty of time. 10 a.m. in the morning, 100% free. I'll show you how to fix high blood pressure, cholesterol, what else? Hs-CRP, calcium scores. We'll show you how to fix all of it. How do you get rid of a cardiovascular event? So if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, triglycerides, palpitations, arrhythmias, if you got a heart health issue, this is the event for you, and it's in 3 weeks. And download the Heart Disease Heal Thyself ebook now. Like, do it now. 704-906-2094. Okay, this last one I think is the best. I've saved the best for the last, but I probably should have done it first because some of you have already tuned out. I'm looking at the number of people on the live stream and even on the radio, and it's like, where did you all go? I don't know. Okay, here, for those of you who stuck around, the best of the best, okay? Tell me if you would agree with this. Their heart does not just beat all by itself. That is correct. Because if you do things, you can make your heart beat faster. And if you do things, you can make it beat slower. If I sit and meditate and breathe in a more vagal pattern, if you're familiar with this, or if I do carotid artery massage, I can bring your heart rate way down. I can bring your blood pressure down. They've shown this. Now, if I put you in a room and I release, 56 wasps, and I dump a bunch of scorpions on the ground, and I throw some king cobra snakes and, a clown, if you hate clowns. Snake clowns, right? Like from Lego City Batman, if you know the movie. What are you most afraid of? Snake clowns. Snakes, clowns, snake clowns. Okay, so I have a 7-year-old, right? I've been watching too many kids' movies. Whatever you're mostly afraid of, boom, your blood pressure goes through the roof. Boom, your pulse goes through the roof. Stress can cause your pressure to go up. What did they say controls your heart rate variability? Oh, if you listen to it, it's the autonomic nervous system. Is your nervous system connected to your heart? Yes to the yes to the yes. Vagus nerve comes out at the top of your neck and goes down and actually tells the heart, whoa, slow down there, sucker. And thoracic sympathetic nerves come out of the middle part of your back and they go, whoa, speed up, faster, stronger, harder. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Those of you who are still watching the live streams or still listening to us on the airways. And you obviously, I can't hear your answer, but do more people have high blood pressure, palpitations, arrhythmias, and tachycardia, too fast of heartbeats? Or do they suffer from low blood pressure, low arrhythmias, like slow heartbeats, and bradycardia? No. 80 to 90% of people are dealing with too much. So what's going on here? Well, it means there's not enough vagal tone and there's too much thoracic tone. There's an imbalance between the autonomics. There's too much gas and not enough brake. Now, the body isn't all brake, all gas, all brake. Your body's like, let's push on the gas 50% of the time, and let's push on the brake 50% of the time so we stay in balance. The way the body works is if you need to rev things up, it doesn't push harder on the gas. It lets the brake come off so the gas can go harder by itself, and then it can go like this. So it says, hey, let's work in rhythm. When the parasympathetics rise, that's vagal tone and sacral tones, then the thoracics lower the sympathetic tone. So if you're in high sympathetic dominance, meaning you're thoracically stressed out, like all of us are, right? My head is cocked forward, my spine is bent. Oh, my neck hurts so bad. That's called thoracic sympathetic dominance. It can make your heart beat faster and become more stressed. Is there a known neurological connection to heart disease? Yes. Vagal nerve damage or thoracic, I'll call it sympathetic dominance, is a studied result behind cardiovascular inflammation. So wait a second. I'm going to take the last 3 minutes and just tie this all together. Inflammation is the root cause of heart disease. What can cause inflammation? Anxiety, stress, chemical toxins, outside negative environment, internal stress, subluxation, neurological damage, or hormone imbalance. And that's about it. Well, your diet can too, right? If you eat an inflammatory diet, you're causing inflammation. But it's either there's not enough of one thing or there's too much of another. I don't have enough vagal tone to slow my heart down. I have too much thoracic tone. I don't have enough antioxidants. I'm eating too many oxidants, so I cause inflammation. I don't have any anti-inflammatories. I'm eating nothing but inflammation, so I cause heart disease. So it starts with that. Diet, spine, nutrients. Then the inflammation starts to irritate the heart, so the calcium comes around and says, let me stick to you to try to heal you, and we start to see the calcium scores go up. Then your body responds and says, wait a minute, the calcium is not working. We need to signal and tell the system that this is happening. So the CRP levels go up, so your inflammatory markers go up. Then your liver says, whoa, there's high CRP, there's a lot of inflammation, and it goes like this. Hey, cholesterol, LDL, bring antioxidants and nutrients to those vessels. So yes, the LDLs come out, and yes, the particles go up, and yes, LDLs lift, but that is not cholesterol. That is a protein carrier. Now, all those nutrients are brought to the vessels, and it should calm it all down and clean it up. So those large, fluffy LDL particles, they'll dissolve down. The HDLs come through and sweep it all up, and everything returns to normal, and you're healthy. That is not, unfortunately, what's happening today. We're not addressing the root cause. We're leaving the nerve damage. We're leaving the inflammation. So more calcium piles up, more LDL piles up, more calcium, more LDL, more calcium, more LDL. And as an emergency, at the very end, the liver says, I'm done. I'm going to crank out cholesterol, and I'm going to seal it and cause a plaque. I know I just burst your bubble, and we just ran out of time, but it's all in the ebook. 704-906-2094. 704-906-2094. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show.